Okay, I promised you a drawing today, or at least some kind of a concept you could show somebody. And we must have come up with dozens of different ways to do this, but we finally figured out a way to do it almost all pneumatically, really cheaply, very accurately, and we stuck with the shear thing that I think we're all a fan of. This design I am definitely a fan of. Um, so there's still a lot of work to be done, obviously, but just coming up with this and figuring out the forces and everything was a real challenge. So, for instance, one of the things on the model that still isn't done is like my links are not right for all this stuff. So this component, this cup essentially, is there just to press on that shoulder that I've been told is repeatable. That shoulder is always there, and that the distance from that shoulder to the remnant is the same every time. So the plan is that this contraption would be on a linear rail down here at the bottom. Axle rolls into the machine, hits on some V blocks, aligns itself. An air cylinder oriented in this direction would pull on a chain, or a Kevlar rope is really all I need. I don't need much. I'll probably use a Kevlar rope. So it would pull on that, which would pull two of these contraptions in equally. When they come over the remnant, this joint right now is rigid, but as soon as I model this pivot point into this plate, then hopefully you kind of get the idea that these shear plates would pop out of the way and then fall back into place behind the remnant and create that small gap that we're looking for where we're going to cut that remnant off. And then I sharpened it with a ball nose cutter essentially. So we're going to curl that little 10 thousandths remnant out of there. So those would again, they go forward like a shaper. I don't know how much into machining you are, but this is how shapers work. When the shaper goes over the part, that pivots out of the way, and then when it comes back, it hits a plate. So this plate would be keeping everything nice and square. And then this cup that I was telling you about, let's get this in the picture here. So the cup really needs to be modeled right up against the Enerpac 150 ton cylinder. Okay, the cup would come in, hit the shoulder. Now my shear is behind the remnants, and then the very act of extending the air cylinder that moves this contraption in and out, when the air cylinder is done extending, then we know that the cup has hit the shoulder regardless of what length the axle is that's in the machine at the time, right? So now the axle, the cylinder hits the end of its stroke. We use that air signal to power a air over hydraulic Enerpac power unit, probably two of them to be honest. And then the hydraulic fluid from that air over oil power unit would extend this little 150 ton ram, right? Upon that happening, and like I said, my joints aren't correct, but that would create this, create some space here, and that's going to pull that shear over the remnant. Okay, and then from there you kind of, I'm sure, get the rest of the cycle. I think we can drill and tap at the exact same time that all this business is going on. I still got a lot of modeling to do, but you said concept. This is really rough, but I think this is the winner. So when I modeled it, I did the math to figure out what the tie rods how strong the tie rods had to be, and what I wanted my pivot points to look like. And so, I mean, this is very early stages, but it's pretty accurate. Hopefully this is good enough. I still commit to getting you a number by Friday. I'm going to model on this most of the day tomorrow, and then I'll give you another update. Thank you.